Good morning, students. Let's start with a new chapter, Faraway Places. It is on page number 36 of your book. Now, before I start, let me give you a short summary about the chapter. Faraway Places is written by Ruskin Bond, and again, this is a story that is written for the children. It's a nice story. This story is about a boy named Anil, right? And this boy, his house was little far from the city, because of which it was difficult for him to go out and play with his friends. His parents, they were always busy in their own work, with their own work, and because of which he always felt kind of lonely. His mother used to be, his mother was a housewife, but she was always busy with the household work. His father was in PWD department and he used to work there, and he was always alone. Now one day what happened here, um, Anil's father took him to a port, right? He took him to a place where these ships were, and he introduced Anil to the captain of one of the ships. Now this captain was Anil's father's friend as well. Now, when Anil met him, he was very happy to see the captain. He was surprised to see the ship and the crew members. He was very happy. And Anil was actually, the captain. He also gave him a chocolate. And this captain was Captain McWare. His laugh was thunderous. Apart from that, this Anil, the moment he saw the ship, he got the fantasy kind of a thing of traveling the world. And because of that, he even tries to make friends with the captain and his crew. The next day, what happens is when Anil's father was not there, he went to the port on his own. He met the captain of the ship, he met the crew members. He was nice, he made friends very easily, and finally, he even told the captain that he wishes to travel with him. He said that it is not necessary that you have to pay me or something. I am ready to work or clean the cabins for you. Now, Captain, he smiled, he laughed, and he agreed. However, Captain even told him that he should ask his father once. Anil told him that my father will never agree and it's best we should keep it a secret. Now, what happens after that? Captain tells him, okay, that we need 2 more days, and after that, once the cargo is uploaded, then we can do one thing. You can come and join us on our journey. Now, this Anil, like this boy Anil, he was looking for some kind of an adventure. He really wanted to go on a journey. He was feeling guilty of leaving his parents, and at the same time, he was very excited to go on a journey with the captain. Now, what happens is one day, like he thought of not going to the port for another 2 days, and so that he'll get to stay at home and spend time with his parents as he was about to leave them. Now, when one night when they were sitting on the dinner table, they were having dinner. That is when Anil's father told mother that captain's ship will be sailing tonight. Now Anil was quite surprised to hear that, because according to Anil, the plan was of moving out or going on a journey after 2 days. So Anil was all shocked and surprised, but he said nothing to his parents. He ran to his room. He picked up all his things that he had kept in a pillowcase, and he started to run towards the harbor. Now, while he was running, he could hear the horn of the ship. So he started running, and his things started to fall from his pillowcase. He still kept running, and somehow he reached the port. When he reached the port, he saw the ship sailing away, and one of the crew members was there on the ship, and he was waving to Anil. Anil kept shouting. he kept calling them. He wanted them to wait. He wanted to join the ship. He kept shouting there. He kept, he was standing there, and he could see his dreams slipping away. Dream of going on a journey. Dream of, you know, um, visiting all the countries. So he could feel as if his dream was slipping away, and he was all heartbroken. He even thought that the word of an elder should never be trusted, because these elders, they can, where anytime they can deceive you. So he was not happy with it, but then he promised to himself that if not this year, then next year I will make sure that I come to the place on time, and I will not miss the ship. I'll be here on time, and I'll make sure that I sail on the right time. So that's what he promises to himself. And he also promises that once he's all grown up, then he'll take his parents along with him on the ship. So that's a nice story. This is the whole story about this boy who always wanted to go on an adventurous journey. Now he got the chance as well, but he was too young to go for such adventures. Let's see what happens here. The chapter is on page number 36 of your book. Let's continue. Children always have a craving to go off to faraway places in search of adventure. Now, I hope you've understood the topic faraway places. Every child has a craving, a kind of a feeling within their hearts where they feel like going on an adventure to these faraway places. This story by Ruskin Bond tells us of such a child, Anil, and his failed attempt to go on such an adventure. Now, this story is written by Ruskin Bond, and this story tells us about Anil, this boy, and his failed attempt to go, of going on a journey. Anil and his parents lived in a small coastal town on the Kathiawar Peninsula, where Anil's father was an engineer in the public works department. The boy attended the local school, but as his home was some way out of town, he didn't have the opportunity of making any friends. Now, Anil's father was working as an engineer in the public works department. Now, Anil used to go to the local school. However, as his home was far away from the school, it was difficult for him to make friends, right? So he had no friends. And where he used to live? He used to live in the coastal town on Kathiawar Peninsula. Sometimes he went for a walk with his father or mother, but most of the time they were busy. His mother in the house and his father in the office. So quite often he used to go for a walk with his parents, sometimes with his mother and father, but most of the time they were busy with their work. And as a result, he was busy with his own resources. And finally, as a result, this poor boy was always busy in his own resources, whatever he had in his room. However, one day Anil's father took him down to the docks about 2 miles from the house. They drove in a car and took the car right up the pier. Now, one day what happened, Anil's father took him down to the docks, right? And it was just 2 miles away from their place, from their house. They went by car, and Anil's father took this car directly on the pier. Pier is where you can see in the image the boy and the father are standing. That bridge that actually connects land to the ships and all is known as pier. It was a small port with a cargo steamer in dock and a few fishing vessels in the harbor. So it was not a huge kind of a port, it was a small port. and there were some cargo steamers and a few fishing vessels. So it was not a huge port, but just a small port with few vessels in it. But the sight of the sea and the ships put a strange longing in Anil's heart. But the moment this boy, Anil, the moment he saw the sea and the moment he saw the ships, his heart, was filled with a kind of a longing, a desire to go on a journey. So his heart suddenly was actually filled with the desire of going on a journey. The fishing vessels plied up and down the gulf, but the little steamer with its black hull and red and white funnel held the romance of great distance and faraway ports of call, with magic names like Yokohama, Valparaiso, San Diego, and London. Now, fishing vessels were okay for Anil, but there was this cargo ship, the little steamer with the black flag and all, and that was the ship that actually captured his attention. And little Anil, he was all, mesmerized with the image of the ship and the sea. And suddenly he got the names, fancy names of places like Yokohama, right? Valparaiso, San Diego, and London. Anil's father knew the captain of the steamer and took his son aboard. So Anil's father was well aware, or maybe he was friends with the captain, so he took Anil on the ship. The captain was a Scotsman named Mr. McWare, a very jolly person with a thunderous laugh, and showed up a set of dirty yellow teeth. Now, Mr. McWare was a Scotsman and he had a thunderous laugh. Apart from that, he used to show his teeth quite a lot, and that was a set of dirty yellow teeth. Mr. McWare liked to chew tobacco and spit it all over the deck. Now, it was Mr. McWare's habit of chewing tobacco and spitting it all over the docks. Okay, but he offered Anil's father the best of cigarettes and produced a bar of chocolate for Anil. But somehow he gave Anil's father one of the best cigarettes and he gave a bar of chocolate to Anil. Well, young man, he said to the boy with a wink, wink, you understand, I'm sure. How would you like to join the crew of my ship and see the world? Now, the captain, questioned Anil that will it be fine? Would you like to join my crew and travel all around the world and see different places? I'd like to very much, Captain Sir, said Anil, looking up uncertainly at his father. Now he was not sure whether his father will allow. So while he said yes to the captain, he was looking at his father as well, so that he can get a kind of the expression or maybe approval from his father. The captain roared with laughter, patted Anil on his shoulder, and spat tobacco on the floor. So Captain was quite happy to know that Anil is also interested in going on a ship, going on a journey. And this captain, he patted Anil's shoulder and finally he laughed and he spat the tobacco on the floor. You'd like to, eh? I wonder what your father has to say to that. So he said, oh, you would like to join my crew? That's good. I don't know what your father would say here. But Anil's father had nothing to say. Now, Anil's father, why he had nothing to say? Because he thought that Anil was just a child and whatever he's saying, maybe it's, childish, not true. And because of that, his father, he did not react. And he just ignored the whole thing. Anil visited, okay, remember this part. Anil visited the ship once again with his father. and got to know the captain a little better. And the captain said, "Well, boy, whenever you have nothing to do, you are welcome aboard my ship. You can have a look at the engines if you like, or anything else that takes your fancy." Now, second day again, somehow Anil went to the docks with his father. He met the captain again, and the captain told him that when you have nothing else to do, boy, you can very well come to my place. You can come here. You can see the engine rooms. You can see how these engines work. Or if you don't wish to do that, then you can very well see whatever you like, anything in the ship that captures your fancy, that that is something very nice or good for you, that you like. The next day, Anil walked down the docks alone, and the captain lowered the gangplank specially for him. Now, next day, Anil, what he did, he walked to the ship, right? He walked to the docks all alone. He went to meet the captain. Captain was a nice person. He knew Anil by now. So he lowered the gangplank. It's a wooden board on which you can walk onto the ship from the pier. So Anil, what he did, he walked on the gangplank and he entered the ship. Anil spent the entire day on board, asking questions from the captain and the crew. Now, throughout the day, Anil stayed on the ship. He kept asking questions not only from the captain but also from the crew members. He made friends quickly, and the following day, when he came aboard, they greeted him as though he was already one of them. Now, what happened after that? He made friends very quickly. He became friends not only with the captain but also with the crew members. And then, next day, when he came, they all greeted him as if he was one of them. He was liked there, right? And finally, what Anil did, that is when he captured, like his heart was captured by the fancy of traveling the world. So we know now, we'll do it till here. Now understand, this story is about this boy Anil. I really want you to read it so that you know what is happening in the story, right? And how Anil became friends with the captain and his crew members. Apart from that, why Anil's father had nothing to say, you should know that, because he thought that maybe they are just they are just talking about it. There's nothing serious in it. So he was not at all bothered about the thing, right? About Anil going on a journey. Just read the chapter, please, and make sure that you are reading the story and watching the videos regularly. So that is it for today. Thank you.